What's going on, everyone from Overtime Heroics? My name is Dane Podolsky, and I'm joined here with UFC Strawweight Elise Reed. She is set to return to the octagon on September 10th when she takes on Melissa Martinez. Elise, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
First off, how did this fight with Melissa Martinez come together, and how's training been going?
This one, we pretty much told my manager, that we were looking for sometime fall, late August, and UFC pretty much got back to us. Sorry, my cat's very loud. Pretty much got back to us in June, and the rest has been training. So training's going well. Definitely doubles and triples every so often, more often than not. But yeah, no, just getting back to work.
It's a pretty quick turnaround after your last fight. Coming off the loss, was it, a point you wanted to make to get back in there, get back on the winning track?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously that fight was not even close to what I'm capable of. So we wanted to hit the ground running. We enjoyed the time off. I'd say 8 to 10 weeks is probably a perfect fight camp for me, because it allows me to set a nice baseline and then kind of work more game plan stuff in the last 4 weeks. But yeah, obviously you're only as good as your last fight, and that one wasn't so good. So we're looking to get back and getting the W.
And so, looking at your UFC track record so far, you have 2 fights at the Apex, haven't gone your way, but you went into London and took down Cory McKenna. You're back, you're in Vegas. Do you think fighting in front of the fans gives you that extra boost that you need to beat your opponent?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you haven't connected the dots, my coach and I have definitely that Apex. We're gonna have to tackle that one at some point, because it's not a good vibe to have every time you go to the Apex you lose. But no, I'm stoked for the crowd. It's the whole reason why you get into this industry, is to fight and bring on a show for everybody else. So I'm excited to be in front of a crowd, and to be in front of an American crowd is even better. So it's gonna be some fireworks.
Yeah, and so I was gonna ask, because you mentioned that American crowd when you fought Cory McKenna, that's obviously in enemy territory. Did that motivate you at all? And what's it like for you going to this fight now that you're the hometown fighter?
It's exciting. I mean, we talk a lot of smack about the UK and how I was at the enemy territory and Cory was supposed to win and all this stuff, but they were really great. I mean, I'm sure there were a few people that lost some money, but I also know that there's plenty of people that made some money. So yeah, no, I'm excited to get back to get into the US and fight in front of a crowd in the US. I think it's going to be really exciting, and I'm looking forward to hearing those cheers, those oohs and ahs as we get going.
And you talk about some people made some money, because for this fight you're an underdog. It's around plus 150. Is that something you pay attention to? And I see you with the fist bump. Does that motivate you?
I love being an underdog. I like taking somebody's zero. Again, it's something that I think I have to work on bringing that mindset into other fights. But yeah, I mean, we'll say nicely that was the whole plan in the long run, was to make sure that everybody has a nice betting line this go around. But no, I love being an underdog. I think that's kind of what motivated me from the beginning of my amateur career and early professional career. And so yeah, if people want to go ahead, make some money.
I was gonna
it's not 200, but it's okay. 150. I'll take 150.
Because you and your team can make some solid money on this. It opened, you were a bigger underdog, and now I think it's been bet down to around plus 150. I think it opened as a bigger
Good. Yeah, hopefully you got in early. No, I love being an underdog. I think that everybody's mindset is very similar to an underdog mindset. I mean, I don't know about you, but life gets pretty crazy, and I feel like it's always like you against the world. And so yeah, so I love being an underdog. It just it makes the victory taste that much sweeter.
And so you talk about taking that zero. Melissa Martinez, she's undefeated, 7-0. Have you gone to watch any of her previous fights, and what's going to give you the advantage to be able to take that zero from her?
So I think obviously she's 7-0. That's something that I haven't been able to do. But I also think she hasn't necessarily fought the caliber of people that I have fought. So I think Striking, she's good. I've obviously watched her fight. I know that it's been a while since she got into a fight, into the cage. I think it's been like 2 years since her last fight. So everything could change, right? She could be a completely different fighter, but I think my striking is better. And this last camp was as it should be, wrestling and jiu-jitsu and ground game for like the first month. So if she decides to go to the ground, I think it's going to be a huge surprise, not just for her, but for a lot of people in the strawweight division and those watching. I think that's what the most exciting for me is. Stand up, I know that I could take her any day of the week, and if she wants to decide to shoot for my feet, then I'll play there too.
Is your end goal to submit her?
I like it bloody, so I'd say no. I'd hit her first and make sure that she's bleeding first, and then I'd submit her. But if the submission's there and the victory's there, I mean, I don't have a pro submission yet, so obviously putting it on my bucket list. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like a good arm bar. I like a good choke, but I wanted to make it dirty a little bit first. Mm-hmm. She's not going to get out unscathed.
And because you mentioned you don't have one in your pro career, but you had an extensive amateur career comparative to Melissa Martinez, had a much shorter amateur career. You both have 7 professional fights, but looking at it, do you think your experience advantage is going to give you a big push in this fight?
Yeah, and the UFC is a completely different ball game. So as much as, to be a pro and to have a great record is great, but she's now in the big leagues, and just that whole fight week experience for the first UFC fight. I mean, I don't know if it's for everybody, but it was a crazy experience for me. And she's going to have a lot of thoughts outside of the fight going into that week. So I think experience is going to be what is going to be demonstrated this go round.
Mm-hmm. And you still run your own gym, Kickside MMA, right?
Yep. So, still doing 20 different things at the same time. Yeah.
And so comparative, to someone, let's say someone trains at like a big gym, like Extreme Couture or ATT somewhere, you're the main fighter at your gym who's in the UFC. Do you think that gives you sort of an advantage, or is it a downside?
I think when you get in the league like this, you have to have training partners, and I think that's something that from a smaller gym is a little harder to do. So I travel a lot. My car is getting a lot of miles on it this fight camp, but it also means that anytime I have a fight, all the attention is on me. And so there's pros and cons to anything. As long as you can find the good training partners, a small camp isn't bad. I mean, we've had it to where each game plan is done for 8 weeks, and that's all my training partners are working on, and that's all I'm working on. So obviously it's worked well for us historically. I think just now, as we're leveling up, we just got to make sure we have training partners. I mean, I'd love to be a big gym and have other fighters in our camp, but I'm the trailblazer, so I have to show them how it's done.
And I'll give you this opportunity. If there's anyone else at your gym who's maybe on the regional scene on the way up, if you want to give them a shout out, I'll give you that chance.
Yeah, I mean, we have some guys that are fighting in Virginia. So James is one of them. Obviously, Paul Carnicella, their team. I've worked with Mariah and Rose and some other regional fighters, but yeah, it's very small. I can tell you that after this fight, we're definitely going to focus our eyes on those individuals so that they get a chance to go again. But yeah, you'll see him soon. Oh, I mean, you'll see him in a little bit. It'll be some time, but you'll see him.
Fair enough. And so you talked about this will be your 3rd fight in 2022. Do you want to get one more fight in by the end of the year? And what are your goals for the end of the year? Yeah,
I mean, I would like to. I've said before, if the UFC wants to keep me active, I'm more than happy to. Obviously making sure that it's a fight that makes sense and that I can kind of build on what I've done already. But I don't think December, definitely January, February is out of this conversation. I'm never gonna wait 6 months like I did before with Cory McKenna. I don't see that happening, but yeah, whatever the UFC needs, I'm here for. So yeah, I love to fight. So give me another one as soon as possible. I got army stuff after though, so you got to give me 2 weeks and then I'll be ready to go again.
Fair enough. I mean, the UFC loves active fighters. I love active fighters. So I respect that. You know, you're the type of fighter you're not going to turn down any fight. Is that a fair statement?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I have never, nor will I. The one fight as an amateur I turned down was she was like 2-1 or 3-1. And I was like, go pro and then we'll talk. And of course it was Rebecca Brigman. And, I was like, that's what I said, go pro. So you have yet to turn down a fight.
There's a few in your division too. I know Lupi Godinez, she's on the rise up. She's someone who's very active. Angela Hill obviously has been kind of pioneer that division. So
Yeah.
I respect that ton that you take all the fights. I think just my last question, September 10th, Elise Reed versus Melissa Martinez. Give me your official prediction for the fight.
I think it's going to be a second round finish. It will be a second round finish in the middle of the second round. So think 2:30 mark. You're gonna hear them go, oh, the ref's looking in. Whether it's from damage or from a submission, I'll let the world play the way it was. But she won't make it out of the second round.
Fair enough. You heard it here first. Elise, thank you so much for taking the time. Guys, Elise Reed returns to action at UFC 279 on September 10th when she takes on Melissa Martinez. Elise, thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.